Welcome aboard the Wonder of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's $1.3 billion megaship. This 1,200-foot-long city on the sea has 8 distinct neighborhoods, spans across 18 decks, and up until a couple of years ago was the largest cruise ship in the entire world.
But in addition to being insanely huge, the Wonder of the Seas is also the newest megaship to set sail out of the cruise capital of the world, having just repositioned to Miami in August of 2025. I'm Skylar.
And I'm Jamie. And over the next 5 days, we are going to be experiencing this ship for the very first time. We're going to be taking you with us every step of the way, starting off at the very first neighborhood we checked out when we boarded, Central Park.
Now, Central Park is just one of 8 different neighborhoods on this ship. And while one of those neighborhoods is off limits to us and the vast majority of other cruisers on this ship, we do expect to be able to take you to the other 7. And since we aren't partnering with the Royal Caribbean, aren't being paid by Royal Caribbean, and paid full price for this cruise, that means we're going to be able to be fully transparent about all our experiences on this ship.
So we just got on board, and normally I like to start off a cruise by going to the buffet to get a quick bite to eat. But on this cruise, we wanted to do something different because it has an area on the ship that we have never seen on any other cruise ship before, and that is Central Park. Here we're surrounded by over 10,000 plants. It has a totally different vibe, and it doesn't even feel like you're on a cruise ship.
Now within Central Park, you'll find the Park Cafe, which is a complimentary eatery here on the Wonder of the Seas. It's known for serving up deli classics like salads, sandwiches, paninis, and desserts. So far, I am loving the atmosphere out here and the fact that we are able to get our food order so quickly and that it was no extra charge.
So we had to order their roast beef sandwich because from our research, that is the item this place is most well known for. It has freshly sliced roast beef on it, and we had au jus and horseradish added as well.
So that bun is a little bit chewier than I was expecting, but I don't mind it. Our roast beef did come off the very end of the roast, so I think it's a little more on the well done side. It's not super juicy, but it is still quite flavorful. And overall, we thought the flavors of the roast beef, the au jus, and the horseradish blend really well. Overall, it's a solid sandwich. I'd say it does live up to the hype, but I think both of our favorite thing about having our first meal here in Central Park is that it's so relaxing as opposed to where we normally start off in the buffet. I'm sure that's crazy right now.
Now, before we leave the Central Park neighborhood, we do want to share what else you can find in this area. There is a fine jewelry store in case you have a bigger budget for this cruise. There's also 3 specialty restaurants that you can book. They are all extra cost. One is Giovanni's, the Italian restaurant. The second is Chops Grill, the steak restaurant. And the third restaurant is 150 Central Park, which is a fine dining restaurant that specializes in small courses. In the Central Park area, you'll also find the Trellis Bar. Now, when we make our way to our next spot, we'll show you some footage from all of these establishments.
So after finishing up lunch in Central Park, we made our way down to deck 4, which is where we had to check into our muster station, and thankfully that was a super quick and easy process. After that, we went 1 deck up to the lower level of the Royal Promenade neighborhood on deck 5. Now in this neighborhood, they have the music absolutely blaring, so at least for now, we're gonna have to talk directly into this microphone.
We're here at Cafe Promenade, which is open 24 hours a day. You can come here for free drip coffee as well as complimentary snacks like sandwiches and desserts. But they also do specialty coffees here, but they do cost extra. Now, if you don't have a drink package and love coffee as much as we do, we would recommend purchasing this specialty coffee card. We were able to do it online when we booked the cruise, and it is going to save us a bit of money on our coffees. And we believe that it works any place that makes specialty coffees besides the Starbucks on board.
Now, even though this place doesn't have near the amount of flavor options as the actual Starbucks, they do use Starbucks coffee to make their lattes, and I was able to get a little bit of caramel added to mine. That's pretty good, definitely better than drip coffee, and there is no doubt we're going to use all of those punches on this cruise.
We did decide to try a snack here, and I asked the staff behind the counter what the best items were, and he recommended this tuna pesto sandwich, and he also said the creme brulee dessert was really good, but I think I'm going to wait until dinner to have dessert.
Now, I got to be honest, I don't normally get too excited about tuna sandwiches, but this one was really good. I love the focaccia bread that it's on. The addition of the pesto is also really nice. It was a great recommendation, and I really love the fact that it's grab and go.
So you'll find a ton of other things here on Deck 5. At the very front is the upper level of the Royal Theater, which spans 3 decks. Now, we were able to get reservations for a show there tomorrow night, so if we're able to record, we'll show you some of that footage now. Now, while we were able to make it into a main theater show, we decided to save that experience for a little later in this episode. Because for now, we still have a whole lot more Deck 5 to show you.
Now, you can probably see that the Starbucks is right behind me here on Deck 5. There's also a bunch of retail shops on this level. There's a bunch of bars as well, including Bolero's, a Latin-influenced cocktail bar with live music and dance classes. The Rising Tide bar, which actually goes up and down between Decks 5 and 8. The Bionic bar, where you can find 50-plus different concoctions served by robots. The Cask and Clipper pub, which has beers from all over the world, as well as pub fare and live music. And Spotlight Karaoke, which for sure is going to be a lot of fun. Now, conveniently located in between all of those bars is Sorrento's, the complimentary pizza joint on this ship, which we're definitely going to be trying out later on.
Now, we have heard there's a great outdoor space on this deck as well, so while we make our way out there, we're going to show you some more footage of all the places we just mentioned. Now, we do have to mention that you can also find guest services, the next cruise office, the port shopping desk, the internet desk, and a bunch of other retail shops within the Deck 5 Promenade area. Now, this outdoor space isn't exactly what we were expecting. We knew that there was a walking and running track that went all the way around the ship, but we didn't know that it's covered, which could be a good thing when it's really sunny or even raining. Now, this is definitely the biggest track we've seen on any cruise ship we've been on, but all the lifeboats are here, so you won't find many good views.
Now, just as Jamie was saying how the views here on the outside of Deck 5 aren't that great, we made it to the back of the ship, and as you can see, the views back here are awesome. There's also not that many people, so if you are on the lookout for some great views on this ship and don't want to deal with the crowds, we definitely recommend heading to the back of Deck 5. Now, here we do have a pretty good view of Miami Beach, and we actually almost stayed here last night because there were some pretty good deals. But once we learned that pretty much all of those places charge at least $50 per night for parking, we decided to stay closer to the airport instead. We booked a room at the Holiday Inn Express at the Blue Lagoon. It was only about 15 minutes from our cruise parking spot. The hotel was really modern and clean. It had some great views, it had a nice pool, and a pretty good breakfast. And perhaps best of all, the parking there didn't cost us a dime. So if you're looking for a place to stay the night before your cruise out of Miami, we would recommend that Holiday Inn Express, and we will leave a link to it in the video description.
We actually booked that hotel as well as this cruise on Plannin, which is a global travel booking site and the sponsor of today's video. When we were deciding which cruise we wanted to go on, we checked a few of our typical cruise booking sites that usually offer really good deals, and in this case, Plannin beat them all. Plannin partners with trusted providers in the travel industry to bring you exclusive discounts on hotels and cruises around the world. So before you book your next cruise on the Wonder of the Seas or any other cruise ship, we'd recommend hopping on Plannin just to see if they might save you a little bit of money so you have a bigger budget on board for things like specialty dining, drinks, and excursions. It's free to become a Plannin member and access their travel discounts. Plus, you can follow us on the platform to see our travel recommendations, as well as our digital travel guides with maps. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up for free.
Now, as you can probably tell, the ship has started to move. We're currently actually heading west towards Miami, but very soon we'll be doing a 180-degree turn and heading east out to sea. Now, pretty recently we were notified that our staterooms are now ready, so while we show you some of these sail away views, we're going to head up to deck 12 to drop off our bags at our stateroom. Now, speaking of that stateroom, I think we're both a little bit nervous about it because based off of the reviews that we've read, it seems that the type of stateroom that we booked is one of the most controversial. It seems like people either love it or they hate it, so we're really hoping that we fall in the love it category. Now, we're not going to show it to you quite yet, but we will give you a full tour of our stateroom later in this cruise to let you know our honest opinion on it. So after dropping off our luggage, we decided to come back down to deck 5 to grab a piece of pizza from Sorrento's. Now, we don't have super high expectations for this pizza. It doesn't have the reputations of some other cruise lines like MSC, but I'm still excited to give it a try. Now, I do actually like that the crust is thin and crispy. I wouldn't say the toppings are as high a quality as MSC or Margaritaville or even Carnival. Overall, it is still a pretty good piece of pizza, but definitely not our #1 pizza at sea.
After a quick pizza snack, Skylar realized it was happy hour, so we made our way up to deck 16 to grab a $6 margarita before heading back to our stateroom to do a little unpacking and get ready for our first dinner on the ship.
So we just finished up our first dinner here on the Wonder of the Seas, which we had in the main dining room, which actually spans across 3 decks at the back of the ship. Now, since we booked anytime dining, we were sat on the lowest of the 3 decks on deck 3, and we were really impressed with the menu tonight. For appetizers, we got escargot, shrimp cocktail, and a crab cake. For entrees, we got prime rib and chicken sog. And for dessert, I got a key lime pie and Jamie got a chocolate custard. Now, of all the things we tried, we both actually agreed that our favorite was the crab cake. It was crispy on the outside, just a little bit gooey on the inside, and it tasted so good. We both thought it was the best crab cake we've ever had on a cruise ship. Now, everything else we tried, we'd say was really good, except for Jamie's chocolate custard. The consistency was kind of weird on that. And also, while my prime rib was really tender, Jamie's was a little bit gristly, but they both did taste really good. Overall, it wasn't the best meal we've ever had on a cruise ship, but the quality of the food was good and the service was great. So after we finished our dinner, we did go up 1 deck just to see what the dining room looked like on deck 4. And we did think that the atmosphere was a little bit better up there. So even though we really do appreciate the flexibility of the anytime dining, we do understand why some people would prefer the scheduled dining because the atmosphere, in our opinion, is a little bit better.
We do want to share more of what you can find on the lower levels. On deck 2 is the medical center and not much else. Deck 3 has the lowest level of the dining room at the back of the ship. In the middle of the ship, there's a conference room, and at the front of the ship is the lowest level of the Royal Theater. On deck 4, right behind me, is the middle level of the dining room, and next to that is Izumi Hibachi and Sushi, which is one of the specialty restaurants. Beyond that is the entertainment place neighborhood, which is where you'll find things like the casinos, as well as several venues for shows. The larger of the two casinos is in the middle of the ship and does allow smoking. Just beyond that is Studio B, which is the ice skating rink. There you can make reservations for ice shows or even book an ice skating session for yourself. Beyond that is the non-smoking casino, which is smaller, and on the other side of the ship is the attic, which is the comedy club, and we're pretty sure that turns into a nightclub late at night. Now beyond that is the middle level of the theater. Now we actually have an ice show booked tonight, and one of the staff members told us that it does get a little bit chilly in there, so we have to go change into something warmer and into our 80s and 90s attire, and then we'll meet you at the ice show. So we just got out of the ice show and I really enjoyed it. I do wish we would have gotten there a little bit earlier to get some better seats because we did have a bit of an obstructed view with the pole, but overall we did really enjoy it and we would recommend it.
Now, I don't think I enjoyed the ice skating show quite as much as Jamie, but it definitely was unique, and I did find it to be fairly entertaining. Now, if you're finding this video to be fairly entertaining or at least somewhat informative, we would love it if you'd consider hitting that thumbs up or hype button, because every time you hit one of those buttons, it really does help this video to reach a wider audience and helps us to keep doing what we love. Now, you may have caught earlier that Jamie mentioned we had to put on our 80s and 90s outfits because we are heading to a special theme party in the Promenade next, so we'll see you there. So the throwback party ended up having a really good turnout, but it was a little bit strange because there's basically just a bunch of people standing around watching the entertainment staff dance. But after that party got over with, they told everyone to go down to the attic where the nightclub is, and that was the most happening dance club we have ever seen on a cruise ship. It was standing room only and everyone was having a great time. We would have loved to stick around a little while, but it is after midnight now and we've got a big day planned tomorrow, so we're gonna go get some water and head to bed. We'll see you back in the morning. As expected, the pizza line late at night after the bars is pretty crazy.
We are starting our second day off on Wonder of the Seas here at the Vitality Cafe at the front of Deck 6. It's located within the Vitality Spa and Fitness neighborhood, which is decks 5 and 6 near the front of the ship. This is another cafe where we can use our coffee punch cards, and we do think that our lattes have a little more espresso in them this morning compared to our coffees yesterday from the Promenade Cafe, so I think we're gonna keep coming here because they're really good. This is also where you can order a variety of smoothies and juices, or grab complimentary granola bars or muffins.
Now, on a lot of cruises, we'd probably be heading next door to the gym next to burn off some of the excessive calories that we consume on these cruises. But on this ship, since it's so big, we have been walking a lot. Also, the elevators are pretty inefficient, so we've been climbing a lot of stairs. Plus, even though the gym is nice, it just doesn't have a lot of windows or natural lighting compared to some of the other ships we've sailed on. I think we'll be skipping the gym on this ship and probably hitting the rock climbing wall instead. Now, while we finish these coffees, we're going to show you a little bit more of the gym and spa areas, and then we'll meet you at our breakfast spot. So our breakfast spot brings us here to the front of deck 15 at the Solarium Bistro. Now, when Jamie said she wanted to come here, I was expecting it to be a healthier spot with a real small amount of options, but to my surprise, they actually have 4 different buffet stations here. We're here at around 11 a.m. and the majority of the food is breakfast, but they do have a few lunch items out as well.
This spot does have a good variety of savory and sweet options, and I know Skylar was really excited to see that they have bacon, and it looks really crispy.
Sounds crispy.
That's really crispy bacon and really salty.
Yeah, that bacon is really crispy but not burnt at all. I think it's great. I'm also really excited to try this beef stew they had up there. It looks like it's really tender beef and olives and a gravy of some sort. Seems interesting. So the beef's not as tender as I thought. It's actually quite chewy, but the flavor is great. You can really taste those olives, so I would recommend this.
So I really like that parfait isn't overly sweet. They definitely use real fruit, but that fruit mixture is oddly a bit carbonated. It's a little weird, but I would still get it again.
So I actually just first tried shakshuka a couple of years ago on an MSC cruise, and I loved it, but this will be the first time I've ever tried it off of a buffet. Now the flavor of that shakshuka is really good, but the texture's a little bit off. It seems like it's probably been sitting out on the buffet for quite a while, so I'd probably skip that one next time.
Skylar's favorite items at breakfast today were the bacon and that beef stew, and mine had to be the smoked salmon and capers as well as that red velvet cake dessert, but I have to warn you, it is very rich. There's a layer of chocolate in there and the frosting is super sweet. So it's probably a good thing it came in such a small portion. The Solarium Bistro buffet is open for breakfast and lunch, and we would recommend it, especially if you're looking for a more relaxed setting when compared to the Windjammer. It is also open for dinner, but that does require a reservation. It is a complimentary restaurant. We were able to make a reservation for the last night of our cruise, but when doing research, I read that they might have started charging a $20 gratuity per person, even though the restaurant is complimentary. So we're gonna have to get to the bottom of that to decide whether or not we'll be back here for dinner.
Now we do want to also mention that the Solarium Bistro is connected to the main Solarium area, which covers the majority of the front of deck 15 and the very front of deck 14. Here you'll find relaxing music, all sorts of loungers, a bunch of whirlpools, a couple of bars with great views, and a pool. All of those areas are only accessible to cruisers 18 and older, so they generally have a pretty relaxing vibe.
The Solarium is a part of the greater pool and sports zone neighborhood on the upper decks. There you'll find more pools, a bunch of hot tubs, some bars, and a ton of activities. We're actually gonna go get changed so we can show you some of those activities, and while we do that, we'll show you some shots from the Solarium.
So our first water activity takes us to the very back of deck 16 where you'll find the Flow Rider. It's a 40-foot surf simulator that pumps over 30,000 gallons of water. I think Jamie's gonna give it a try first. So far it seems like Jamie's a natural at this, which isn't too surprising. She was pretty good when we tried surfing for the first time in Costa Rica. So I should mention that you do have to stand in line to get a wristband before you can do the Flow Rider. They do have a beginner session, which is actually what we're doing right now. You start off on your stomach, and then if that goes all right, they let you try to get up on your knees. Then you can come back later on for the more advanced session where they actually let you try to do it standing up. So the instructor, I think, is trying to show Jamie how to get up on her knees. So far, she hasn't been able to do it, but she's trying. It looks hard. Yeah.
Skylar's turn. He's getting some instructions. Ah, here he goes! Oh! So my first attempt at the Flow Rider was a lot of fun, but it was more challenging than I was expecting it to be. Even just a few minutes on there was quite exhausting when you don't know the right technique. I do think it probably gets easier very quickly once you learn the right moves, but I have a little practice to go still.
Now I'm with Jamie. I agree. The flow rider was definitely a bit more physically exerting than I thought it was going to be. For whatever reason, no matter what I did, I always seemed to move backwards. So I got to work more on figuring out the technique to not constantly move backwards. And considering the one time I tried to get up on my knees, I literally face planted. I'd say I also have some more practice to go before I'm going to be ready to try standing up.
Here at the upper decks on the back of the ship, you'll find a bunch of other activities as well as the wipeout bar. Right next to that is where you watch the instructional video for the flow rider and get your wristband to be able to ride it. Next to the flow rider is the sports court, and across from the sports court is the putt-putt golf area. And below the putt-putt golf area is the Wonder Playscape for kids. At the very back of the ship is the abyss, where you'll find 2 dry slides that'll take you all the way down to the boardwalk. And in a little bit, we're going to show you what that is like. But first, we're going to eat at the complimentary Mexican restaurant right in this area.
Now the spot here on deck 16 that we are gonna grab a bite to eat at is a Loco Fresh, which is a complimentary fast casual Mexican spot, but the line today was absolutely insane. We think we're gonna try it some other day, maybe on a port day when it's not so busy. Thankfully, at the bottom of the Ultimate Abyss, which we're gonna be going down in just a little bit, we do think there's another complimentary restaurant, so hopefully it won't be quite as busy and we can grab some food there. Now, a few other things you'll find in this area are the arcade, the Social 100 Club for teens, a shop that is all vending machines, and the Crown Lounge, which unfortunately we do not have access to since we don't have the right status, but I did still sneak in there so I could at least show you a shot of what it looks like. But now it's time to go down to Ultimate Abyss. 3, 2, 1, go! So when we went to go down the dry slide, we found out that I was the only one that could go down it because Jamie's shorts were still too wet. I don't think she was missing out on too much. Of the 3 dry slides I've been on cruise ships, that one was the slowest. I actually thought I was going to get stuck a few different times, but honestly, it'd probably be a great activity for a younger kid. Now, on the bright side, when I got to the bottom of the dry slide, I was happy to find that the complimentary restaurant down here was open, and it had a really short line, so we were able to get some food very quickly.
So I wasn't super excited that we had to swap out the Mexican spot for a hot dog spot, but when we got here, I was pleasantly surprised because they also had bratwurst and even a chicken option. We could get sauerkraut on top as well as an everything bun. Overall, they were pretty good. They're a nice quick option. The hot dog spot is near the back of deck 6 in the Boardwalk Neighborhood. Here you'll find things like the carousel, which is right behind me, Playmaker's Sports Bar and Arcade, which is huge, a candy shop, Johnny Rockets, a kids retail shop and play area, the rock climbing wall, and the entrance to the Aqua Theater, which we do have a show booked at tomorrow night. Now we are cruising late September, early October when Royal Caribbean is celebrating their birthday. They're having a birthday bash that's gonna start very soon. So we're gonna go change out of our swimsuits. While we do that, we'll show you some more shots of the boardwalk.
So as I'm sure you can see, there was a pretty good turnout for the birthday party tonight. Now, if you want to attend one of these parties but don't necessarily want to participate and just want to party watch, we recommend hanging out just outside of the Schooner Bar on deck 6. It overlooks the party area on deck 5. And plus, if you're here between 4 and 6, you can get one of their happy hour margaritas for $6.
Now before we leave this area, we should point out that the loyalty desk is right next to the Schooner Bar, and across from that is where you'll find a bunch of tablets to book excursions. And next to those is the photo center where you can look up all those lovely photos that the staff take of you. Next, we have a couple more activities to show you. Thankfully, there wasn't much of a line for rock climbing. It's actually quite windy on the back of the ship right now, which will kind of add to the experience, I think. Now, it does look like sometimes they run 2 different walls, but today, only the one on this side is running. For rock climbing, you do need dry clothes and socks. They do provide you with shoes. Looks like they've got 3 auto belays going this time. How high of a wall is this?
44
It's 44?
feet.
Nice. That's awesome. Which was harder? The first one?
Now, thankfully, our rock climbing skills are more advanced than our surfing skills. We do climb pretty regularly. Most of these routes are definitely designed for kids, so we asked what the hardest route was, and they told us it was the blue one, which we were both able to climb on our first try, but we've been trying some other ones as well to see if any of them are challenging.
This rock climbing wall is a lot of fun. For experienced climbers, I would say this is a great workout. Now, if you're not familiar with rock climbing, then it'd be a great challenge. Next, we're gonna try out the zip line.
Well, how was it?
It was pretty fast. It was really short, but faster than I expected to be, but it was a little jolty at the end when they stopped you. Skylar is next in line for the zip line. In order to do the zip line, you do need closed-toed shoes as well as sleeves. This is a little contraption at the end that gives you a little jolt to slow you down. Here he goes. You're gonna have to do it again.
Why?
Something was weird with the phone, it didn't record.
Are you kidding me?
No. All right, this is number 2 because somehow I did not record his first zip line. I think it was a user error.
So that zip line was quite a bit of fun. Unfortunately though, they wouldn't let me use my GoPro on it, even though I brought 3 different types of straps. So instead of being able to show you what it looks like first person while doing the actual zip line, we're just gonna stick the GoPro over the edge here so you can at least see how high up you are.
After the zip line, we went back to our room to get cleaned up and changed for dinner. And tonight, the anytime dining on deck 3 was a little bit backed up. So the staff actually sent us up to deck 4 to eat with those who have the reserved dining time. And up there, we had excellent service, just like we did last night. Now tonight, I went with the arancini for the appetizer. It was Italian night. I also ordered the New York strip, as well as the hazelnut cake. Now I did think my appetizer and entree were both very good. The arancini was crispy on the outside and soft in the middle, and the steak had really good flavor and it was cooked how I ordered it. But the standout item had to be that hazelnut cake. It was almost the consistency of a lava cake, and it did have a side of this really thick whipped cream. It was excellent.
I went with the fried polenta for the appetizer, and I think it's the first time I've ever had that. I really enjoyed it. It was actually the standout item of the meal for me. I also got the lasagna, which I did think was pretty good, and the tiramisu was pretty good as well. And like Jamie already mentioned, the service was great. I think we both got our waters refilled like 5 times, and one of the couples at our table who was drinking cocktails got their drinks refilled like 4 or 5 times as well, which is really impressive considering on some of the cruises we've sailed on, they never even asked us for drink orders once. So since we hadn't yet caught a show in the main theater, we decided to check out the Voices show after dinner. I describe it as kind of an a cappella show, which I gotta be honest, isn't really my type of thing, but it was a beautiful theater. The singers were definitely very talented, so if a cappella is your thing, then I would definitely recommend you check it out. So at this point, we've taken you to shows in 2 of the 3 main performance venues. We've taken you to 6 of the 8 neighborhoods, and we've probably already shown you around 90% of the things that you can do on this ship. And it's really hard to believe that we've only been on the ship for around 36 hours since we've done so much already. That being said, there are still some things that we haven't yet shown you on this ship. We will get to some of those over the next couple of days, but there's probably a couple that we really won't get to experience that much, so we do want to at least give you a quick glimpse of them. Those include a few different specialty restaurants like Wonderland on deck 12, which is an Alice in Wonderland themed restaurant and bar, the Mason Jar on deck 15, which specializes in Southern cuisine, and Hooks on deck 16, which specializes in seafood. On deck 14, you'll also find the Youth Zone neighborhood, which is home to the Adventure Ocean Kids Club, as well as the card room.
Now, 5 days isn't nearly enough to truly experience everything on a ship this massive, but we still have quite a list of things that we're going to make sure to check out and share with you all over the next couple of days, including the main pools, the Windjammer Buffet, the water slides, the music hall, the aqua show, and we still got to take you on a tour of that controversial stateroom we mentioned earlier. And after that, we're even going to share our likes and dislikes about this ship. And with all that still to cover, we decided that this ship deserved a second episode. And all you have to do to watch that is to click here right now. Thanks for watching.